Well, good morning, friends. It is 10:02. Welcome to Commissioners Court. I call this meeting to order. As usual, we will begin with an invocation followed by the pledges. Dear Lord, I come to you this morning and thank you for the start of another day and another week. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here and address the business before us. Pray for your guidance and direction in all of our activities today and in the week ahead. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Silence your cell phones, please.
All right.
Need to lower it down.
The next item we have on our agenda is citizens' communication. Anyone who would like to address the court on any county-related issues that aren't individually listed, you are welcome to do so at this time. Morning, Bill.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Just want to remind everybody that we have 2 days of early voting, today and tomorrow, 8 to 5. And there's very few items on the ballot, but very important items on the ballot. So let's make sure we go out. And then Election Day is the 2nd of May, coming up on Saturday. I always, I'm on the Tuesday after the Saturday, and where's everybody at? So that's it.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Bill.
Yes, sir.
Other comments this morning for citizens' communication. Good morning, Michael.
How you doing? I'm Michael Bondro. I live at 2107 North Bend, Jordan. Just recently, there's a pack of dogs that broke into a chicken coop, and they pulled those staples out of that chicken wire and ate all the chickens. And now they don't got no eggs. And one was a Siberian Husky, and I was wondering if Animal Care Services could give them a trap or something, you know, because in Victoria it's common knowledge that packs of dogs run around. I remember a dog just recently came to the apartment where I live and killed a stray cat, you know, but I hope they can at least get one of those dogs. And I do got some eggs they can have if they want, you know, because now they don't have no eggs, so they killed all the chickens and stuff. And they use that cheap chicken wire. I guess you need like some expanded metal to build those chicken coops because those dogs can break into them. And also the water fountain don't work. I tried it last time, it squirted in my eyes, you know, but today it don't work. And also tomorrow there's a diabetes screening, and about 38% of people have pre-diabetes, and about 50% have diabetes that live in nursing homes. And it's over at Citizens Medical Center from 12 to 1. And what's good about it is you get a free meal. So if you're homeless or something and don't have no food, you get a free meal. You don't have to bring your own food. And they teach you about diabetes and stuff. And also people that aren't diabetics, you know, just they might want to learn about it or stuff like that. And also on at the convenience store by Midcoast, they got a lot of homeless people. I don't call it like loitering around there, but more or less like living there. And, you know, it's a danger to the convenience store clerk. You know, just recently someone tried to assassinate Donald Trump, but their job is much dangerous. They don't have the Secret Service protecting them. And I wish the police department, the sheriff's deputies and police officers while they're on duty, go there and buy like a snack or something, you know, just so many people won't live there, you know. I don't even call it loitering, you know, I call it more like living there. And it's just getting out of hand. And St. Joseph School is nearby. And I did talk to the school board about that homeless encampment by Victoria Independent School District. And I talked to the congressman's office and McLeod, I believe, and they said up to 50 feet, that's the railroad police's responsibility. So it's really not the Victoria Police Department responsibility, it's the railroad police responsibility to take care of it. And that's about it. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Michael, what water fountain were you referring to? I'll make sure it gets looked at. Right out there?
This one right here.
And where's your jacket? Where's your jacket? You wore it yet last time.
Well, I was waiting for my pants.
Oh, okay.
I had to wear shorts, you know?
Thank you, Michael. You made it in under the 5-minute mark.
There you go.
So, well done. Good morning, Mr. Byrd. Welcome.
Morning, sir.
Ernie Byrd. If y'all could give me a few more minutes this time, I promise you I won't come back next week.
We have a lot of folks today, Ernie,
Yes,
so
sir.
if you can keep it to 5, that'd be great.
Okay. Just wanted to list a few things that I've helped get accomplished. Y'all aren't gonna have to put up with me much longer. I've got, I'm operating on just one artery now, and the other ones are plugged all up. Can't do anything with it, so y'all won't have to put up with me too much longer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Well, we
sorry
don't
to
look
hear
at it
that,
that
Ernie.
way, Mr. Byrd.
Yeah.
We don't look at it that way.
No, we don't.
I think a lot of y'all think I'm just a gripey old
No, we
man.
don't.
No.
No, we don't. You're a member of the public. We appreciate your comments.
Yeah, I mean, we can't fix it if we don't know something's broke.
Something that Shannon took care of right away when I asked him about it. I've been after Gary and them for 8 years. The turn there on Timber Drive, that's real dangerous, where a couple of people's been killed. He striped it and put reflectors out there. Just the week before you did that, I had to hit the ditch. There was a deputy hauling butt around that corner on the inside. And that's, Gary and them said that people just need to learn how to drive, but it's a blind turn. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
And now I've lost this.
Good job, Commissioner.
I don't know if y'all traveled Business 59 very much going out towards Goliad Moody Street, but on the First Relief Bridge there was one hell of a bump there. And I put in enough complaints, I think they finally fixed it.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all are aware of that large hole by the gutter there in front of Firestone. It was a grade that was down about that far and everybody hit it and it bounced trailers up off the ground this far and everything. I gave them enough hell there and they finally
Okay.
got it fixed. I got the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority to agree to clear those 17 log jams south of Bloomington by putting pressure on TxDOT and Invista and all them that they're doing it. And they're gonna do it. And this is stuff I think y'all should have been doing. Getting the county to agree to moving the shooting range to a safer location before it could cost taxpayers millions of dollars to clean it up. That shooting range is in the floodplain and actually in the waterway. I got that copy of the lead poisoning thing, and it said 300 or whatever, and 300 is acceptable. But the mound itself was 3,770 parts per million lead contamination. And when we get a flood, that washes out. And those lakes aren't actually lakes. Those are the top of the water table. They dug down so much, that's the top of the water table. All that millions of pounds of lead that's in there is going to get washed in there, along with all that contaminated soil. Well, the lead probably won't wash very far. But it's the contaminated soil that's going to, and it could cost millions to clean up then, but you could do it real cheap now. And hang on one second. I'm not very good with this modern technology. I'm sorry. It keeps going away on me. Anyway, I'll just try to finish up myself. Before Shannon was sworn in, I met with Mr. Sexton and Mr. Ort and him out at the relief bridges out where I took you about 10 years ago. I showed you the water can't get under there because of all that growth. They all agreed that something needed to be done, and they said, just give us a little time. Well, I waited 6, 8 months, and I called Shannon, and he said, oh, well, Mr. Sexton told me that he told you that that's not in the county's, that's not on the county's land. And I said, did you? You didn't tell me. You might have told him you told me that.
That day that we spoke, I told you that's a text dot right away. That's not a county right away underneath.
You
that.
can't read a map then. I'll bring the maps up here next time. And that's something that ought to be taken in consideration when y'all get to be a commissioner. You ought to be able to read a map. And I brought the maps out there and showed y'all. And it's just,
Passed it.
huh? Okay, are you saying that that's not the county's land? You're saying you'll swear your job on it?
Where that bridge is?
Where
That's
the
a text
leaf
dot
bridges
right
are,
away.
all the way to Roger Salvage. I'm not talking about right at the first. You know that. I told
The
you
county
further
does
down.
have property past that, correct. But where the issue was either on text dot right away or was on private property and was not owned by the county.
It is. Go down to the
I know,
tax
I know. I'm not
department.
going to say anything else, Ernie, so excuse me, I'm sorry.
But, I don't know. I've got a list of a whole bunch of other things that I've done, and, I want to know where's my paycheck? Since the last election, y'all have made over $700,000, the five of you. And all I've done is spend a bunch of money. I've made thousands of telephone calls, ran all over the place.
All right.
And I don't get anything for my troubles, except
Thank you,
y'all
Ernie.
thinking I'm an old man.
We're at 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll be back next week.
We're here every
Thank you.
Monday at 10. Thanks.
Thank you,
Ernie.
sir.
Thank you.
Other comments this morning in citizens' communication? Good morning, Woodrow.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Good to see y'all.
Morning, sir.
My name is Woodrow Wilson Wagner, and as you gentlemen know, for multiple generations, my family and I have helped educate and build this community. Today, I want to talk about two words: trust and results. People often ask me, Woodrow, why do you trust our county judge? Why do you trust our county commissioners? A valid question with a simple answer: results. Not pie in the sky maybes, not hypotheticals and projections, actual, empirical, quantifiable, and measurable results. Results like creating a new public defender's office and a county mental health facility. Results like securing external funding to improve our airport, over $2.2 million in grants to remodel our control tower, $2.5 million from the state to remodel the terminal. That's results. In a similar way, folks ask me, why should we trust VISD School Board and the superintendent to manage a $240 million bond package? Same answer: results. When the new superintendent within 1 year reduces administrative costs by $3.1 million, that's results. When the district improves its state accountability ratings from 0 A campuses to 3 A campuses and 9 F campuses to 0 F campuses, that's results. When VISD expands its dual credit offerings, exceeds its attendance goals, increases its graduation rate, and improves its overall district rating 1 full letter grade, that's results. Trust is earned, not simply given away. As President Ronald Reagan once said, trust but verify. Like all of you fine gentlemen, our superintendent and school board have the results to verify and earn our trust. Now, some have suggested that VISD is hiding things from us and has created this bond proposal in secret behind closed doors. Yet Superintendent Collazo has made hundreds of hours of presentations to dozens of community groups. She answers every question. No dodging, no double talk, no obscurity. Also, this bond package was created by we, the people, specifically 43 of our fellow citizens, representing a cross-section of all walks of life in Victoria. I, for one, trust our fellow citizens, including prominent business leaders who support this bond and see it as a catalyst for economic growth. Indeed, this Commissioner's Court has an outstanding track record on creating economic development incentives. These VISD bond initiatives would further incentivize more companies and employers to choose Victoria County. Our democracy thrives on differences of opinion when it comes to solving our public policy problems. Yet vote no is not a plan. So I invite all who might be listening today, just like you trust our county judge, just like you trust our county commissioners, trust the good ideas of our fellow citizens. Trust the tangible results of our superintendent and our school board. Pass this bond. So say we all.
Thank you very much, Woodrow.
Thank you, Woodrow.
Thank you.
Other comments this morning in citizens communication. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Scott.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Good.
And staff, I just wanted to take this moment just on behalf of Congressman Michael Cloud to say thank you for your support. He's had a crazy schedule lately, and I just wanted to solicit your prayers as a county, just for him and all the things he's involved in and everything he's doing. Obviously, we're here for you guys. That's why a couple times a year I come in here and say the same thing. Just want that to always be on the forefront of your mind and the community mind as well. We've had some great wins for the county over the last year, and we're looking forward to many more down the road. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much
Well,
on behalf
Scott,
of Congressman.
we appreciate you and Congressman Cloud. We are well aware that the congressman is an advocate for us, and he's been instrumental in getting a lot of the big accomplishments we've been able to achieve, being behind the scenes, getting that done. There was mention made about the airport. That's just one example of that. We really couldn't ask for a better or more effective congressman than Michael Cloud, and I know you came here to thank us, but we appreciate you and him, and he is an incredible advocate for this congressional district. So we're all very aware of that.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Other comments this morning in citizens communication?
Animal control.
Crystal, come on up.
Come on down.
We've had a lot going on in animal control. And I hear the word trust coming up a lot today, and that's what we're trying to do, is build the community's trust back up. We can't do it overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time. So, but we are working on it. So, and I am on top of the chicken issue already. I knew about it before you said something. So, we would like to bring to the court's attention Lorena Keefe, one of our ACOs. She received national recognition, which is a great accomplishment. And so I'd like to make sure that y'all all know that she received that award. And we're very proud of her. She's one of our senior officers, and she has helped instrumentally with me coming in and guiding me around, her and Joe both. So we went to conference this weekend in Austin. Brought back a lot of great things, a lot of great ideas. One thing that Victoria was recognized during this conference, it was a topic of what can be changed in 1 month. What can you do? What can you change in 1 month? Well, Victoria was in a competition, and their competition was how many return homes can we get versus bringing them into shelter. Right. They ranked #1 in the whole competition at 178% return rate.
Wow.
And Best Friends, everybody was floored with this. And so what they did is if they found an animal roaming, they made more attempts, just to really try to seek out the owners, and they found them. We are going to continue that, and what I would like to add to that is when they do that and find these pets, that we will put a microchip in and actually register it to the owner, so that way we won't have to be wasting time trying to chase them down. It will automatically come back. So we're going to continue the competition and see if we can beat that 178%. This weekend we'll be at Riverside Park with Gulf Bend. It's a 1.5 mile walk. It's called Shine the Light. It's for mental health and suicide walk. It's a resource fair, so we'd like to invite everybody out. We will have dogs, so if you'd like to walk a dog on the 1.5 mile walk, we would encourage you to stop by our booth, and we will give you one to walk with you.
What time does that start?
It's from 8 to 10.
Okay.
And I just wanted to bring awareness. You know, people get in situations sometimes they can't get themselves out of them. And, you know, I'm going to bring up a hoarding situation we had last week. We had a really rough week last week with injuries, hoarding, and abuse. This particular fella, he is an older gentleman. He had 9 Yorkies, terribly matted. You couldn't even touch them. They would cry. And he had tried to trim them himself, and they would bite him. He was a veteran. He suffered from mental health. And so my goal is not to step in and take animals from people. He loved his animals, and the animals loved him. He just got himself into an unfortunate situation. So we decided to help him. He did surrender 5 to us. One had kind of, when we showed up, had gotten loose, and he was looking for it. He still hadn't found it. I think somebody picked it up. But we left him with 3, but we did groom the dogs. And he had 2 males and 1 female, and we are going to spay the female for him so that he does not have that problem any longer. Sheridan, she's one of our adoption coordinators. She was a groomer prior, so she groomed all of the ones he kept for him. And she did tell him she would do it regularly for him at no charge. So, you know, there's a fine line with the mental health and things like that. So we want to be a help to people. We don't want people to think of us in a negative aspect, you know, and so I just wanted to point out that that is a lot of the, when you come into the hoarding situations, it's more to it, you know, and so we want to be cognizant of that and to help the citizens if we can. So,
Excellent.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to recognize also that dog that y'all had that was cut open really bad last week, that was in need of quite a bit of vet bills, and it had puppies, right? Yes. And Kim Meyer found someone to cover the bills, to pay the whole vet bill to save the dog and the puppies, so that was pretty awesome of her. I want to thank her.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks as well. I had a constituent with an issue last week, and you took care of it, and they were very pleased, so thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Well done. Other comments in citizens' communication this morning? I'll point out one quick thing. I know Bill mentioned 2 days of early voting left for Saturday's election. Today is the last day to register to vote for the runoff election, which will be right after the municipal election and the school bond election Saturday. So anybody who is not registered to vote, you can do so today for the runoff election, but not for Saturday's election. Also, one other item, the board of the Soil and Water Conservation Council stopped by the office a little bit earlier. They knew we had a full agenda, so they did not need it or want it on the agenda, but the county has issued a proclamation for Soil and Water Stewardship Week 2026. This is something that we do annually. I just wanted to point that out. I won't read it today, but we did issue that proclamation, and I want to thank the board for stopping by the office this morning. Anything else before we move on into the agenda? All right, looks like we are good to go, so we will proceed. Item number 4 is to consider approval of minutes and take appropriate action. Each of you have a copy of those minutes in front of you.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 5, consider approval of accounts payable and take appropriate action.
Accounts payable for April 27th, 2026 are $585,497.12. Supplemental payments are $1,194,899.25.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you, Michelle. Item 6, receive monthly and quarterly reports from various county officials and departments and take appropriate action.
We have monthly reports from the county treasurer today.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 7, consider approval of bond forfeiture releases and take appropriate action.
We have none this morning.
All right, very good. Thank you, Heidi. Item number 8 is to consider approval of Citizens Medical Center interim vendor payments and take appropriate action. Why do I not have my interim vendor payments in front of me?
It's not on the attachment. It's not even on there.
It's not on the attachment either.
Do we not have any of those this week? Okay. Well, let's hunt them down and we can come back to that item. All right, we will come back to item 8. Item number 9 on the agenda is to discuss and recognize South Texas Archery Junior Olympic Archery Development Program achievements for the 2025 and 2026 season and take appropriate action. I see we have some of the outstanding individuals who won some of those achievements. Who do we have speaking for the organization? Come on up and just give us your name. I have a list here of all the
I don't have my list with me, so.
awards that
we have it.
won, and
I'm Carrie Gehring, resident of Victoria County for about 20 years. I've been coaching archery for 10 to 12 years. Today we have Riley Berger, Connor Gehring, Branson Massey, Dean Rosas, Gideon, and Greenlee Wentz. These are about half of our JOAD archers that compete across the nation. I don't have my accomplishments in front of me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot borrow
I
one.
have you want to borrow mine?
Yeah, you can.
It is
Yeah.
it's too lengthy for me to read. It's incredible.
I'll just highlight a couple of them. Let's see, Connor Gehring, he's actually my son.
Which one's Connor?
I don't like bragging, but there he is. Connor is on the USA Archery team for the U15 compound for the 2025-2026 year and in the process of qualifying for U18 for the USA Archery team. That's probably his biggest accomplishment. Dean Rosas is the NFAA national champion this year.
Dean?
Dean, raise your hand.
All right.
Carter Dietz is not present today. He is a second place at the Vegas shoot, which is actually the world's largest indoor archery tournament.
Wow.
Wow.
Riley Berger, right here. Third place in the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in 3D, which is the largest archery tournament in Texas for our archers. Christopher Hood, he is not present today, but first place in the 4-H District 11 tournament. Branson Massey, raise your hand big so we can see you. He is a TSAA state champion and shooter of the year for his division. Jacob Craig, fourth place at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. He is not present. Elsie Dietz is first place in District 4-H. Ellie Van Meter, not present. Second place, USA Archery JOAD Indoor Aggie Invite. That's held at Texas A&M University in the fall, sometime October, November. Ridge Scott, second place 4-H district tournament. Greenlee Wentz, she's here. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo reserve grand champion. So
Wow.
proud. And Gideon Wentz, third place at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo tournament. Raise your
Can't see
hand
him.
big so we can see you. We want to thank y'all for taking this time to recognize our archers and our program.
Yeah, well, we thank you, and it is certainly worth acknowledgement and
Yes.
recognition. I know we always make it a priority here in Commissioners Court to acknowledge our students, our 4-H students who achieve awards. I know we
Right.
have an awesome shotgun program
Yep.
here in Victoria
Yes.
County, and to see the accolades of these archers is incredible.
Yes,
So certainly worth recognition. Yes, if y'all don't mind, we'll get a picture
Picture?
down
Perfect.
front, and that would be awesome.
I also, I guess let me recognize him too. I also have Coach Gene Kassir with us. He's been with the JOAD longer than I have and in the archery community for Victoria for many, many years. Okay. This way?
Yes, we do. Okay.
Yes, probably.
Impressive group of young
it is.
folks. That item was to simply discuss and recognize, so we don't need to take any formal action at this moment. We do need to formally turn down the AC. I see people
I-
think themselves as...
I'll second that.
Okay, yeah.
I've already turned
Call
it in.
Kelly if the
He said it's
override can't be
maxed out.
overridden.
He said it's maxed out.
All right, I do now have, back
Just
to
like-
item number
just like the
8,
room
that's to
capacity is
consider
maxed out.
approval of Citizens Medical Center interim vendor payments. We have the memo from our hospital dated April 23rd that shows interim vendor payments in the amount of $241,543.36, and the ACH report on that same date totaled $2,116,542.62.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 10 is to receive for the record the adopted order from the Victoria County Elections Commission appointing Karen Klein as Victoria County Elections Administrator and take appropriate action. I know I announced last week that she formally assumed that role last Monday, but we have a copy from our Elections Commission to receive by the court. I want to thank Heidi for serving on that. I saw Jewel back there, Jewel Buchanan, our tax assessor collector, and also Bill Posey, who left already. All 5 of us serve on the Election Commission. So do we have a motion to
So
receive
moved.
that for the
Second.
record? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 11 is to receive and discuss the proposed Victoria County budget calendar for fiscal year '27 and take appropriate action. This is something we try to get out as early as we can each year to give folks the opportunity to plan for that. In your packets, you should have a copy of that listing the legal and practical deadlines and requirements throughout our lengthy budget process. Of note would be the preliminary budget meetings for anyone who wanted to visit directly with me. That'll be July 8th through 10th. Just get with Madison, you're coordinating those, okay. Get with Madison on setting that up. Also of note, we will have our Commissioners Court budget workshops, our public workshops, the week of August 10th. So pencil that in your calendars, and if anybody wants to visit directly with the full court, you are welcome to do so then. Are there any questions or feedback on this schedule? Nope. Okay. Do we have a motion to, well, I guess it would be a motion to receive that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. There may be a need for some adjustments, but if there are, we certainly will publicize that very well. Our next item, item number 12, is to conduct a public hearing and consider and take possible action regarding the approval of a tax abatement agreements with FA Victoria 1 LLC pursuant to, and that stands for First Ammonia, pursuant to Chapter 312 of the Texas Tax Code on property owned by the Port of Victoria and the Victoria County Reinvestment Zone 2 for the construction of green ammonia facilities, Phase 1 and Phase 2, with a capital investment of approximately $530 million for Phase 1 and $250 million for Phase 2, and take appropriate action. Jonas with the VEDC is here, as well as representatives from the port and First Ammonia. Welcome. I guess I'll let you kick it off, Jonas.
Yes, well, thank you all so much. I think this is a fantastic step. You know, this has been a years-long process of, investments at the Port of Victoria, participation with the Commissioners Court to continue to make Victoria business-ready and diversify our industry base. This is a clean, green technology, a product whose market is growing worldwide. This is one of the projects like this that is advancing the quickest in a very, very positive way. That's really putting us on setting ourselves apart for innovation, ecology, and environmental sustainability. So this is a win-win-win across a multitude of facets. And we're so thankful for First Ammonia for finding us, and Lee from diving into our community, being part of a lot of our trash pickups and participating and always making himself available to answer questions and talk about some of the things that they would like to do. But they want to invest almost $1 billion in our community, and they want to create 45 high-paying jobs. And so, with these extremely capital-intensive projects, it takes a while. And so this is another critical hurdle that we are clearing today to get to a point that we can all point to and we can all collectively participate in and be all jointly proud of continuing to advance Victoria County. So thank you all so much. One of the things that I just wanted to point out is oftentimes we do conduct economic impact analyses, or every time we do on these projects. And we want to make sure that everybody is getting those and getting the information that they want. I know Sharon updated some of them this morning and sent them to you all. But even with looking at a potential investment to incentivize, get this investment here in Victoria County, it is still a great windfall for Victoria County, over $30 million of revenue. So this is, or I think I have that number wrong. Yeah, $31 million of revenue. So we're very proud of this, and we just are so thankful for the port, First Ammonia, and you all to get here. So thank you.
Excellent. The public hearing for this topic is open. Is there anyone who would like to speak to or on this topic?
I guess not.
All right. Seeing no one, anything up here?
I just want to say thank you, Jonas, and I want to echo your words over the past year, and it's been great work on this project together and get to where we're at today. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. You guys have been great, and also too want to give accolades to Mr. Lee Raymond, representing First Ammonia. He has really ingratiated himself into the community by participating in Keep Victoria Beautiful actions like that, and always been available. So look forward to great things in the future.
Yes, indeed. Lee, anything you want to share this morning?
Come on up.
Come on up, please. Yeah, what is up with our AC?
Because
Somebody got a box fan?
you're only supposed to have 49 people in here. We're over.
Oh, were we over?
I think we just Yeah.
So, my name is Lee Raymond. I'm the head of project development for First Ammonia, for those that don't know me. I want to thank the court here today, judge and commissioners. I want to thank you on behalf of First Ammonia, but also personally. Victoria holds a very special place in my heart, and I think those of you that know me and know the project know that there's a good deal of my own blood, sweat and tears in there.
Yes.
We've spent 3.5 years developing this project. The project in itself is not particularly complex, but the development and the planning of a project of this scale is hugely complex, and because of that, any assistance or relief is always gratefully received. So again, we thank you for this, and we look forward to collaborating in the future. Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
Lee.
We're looking forward to as well. We appreciate working with First Ammonia and VEDC. I think this is a plus for the taxpayers of Victoria County and the base with the jobs, with the average salary that's coming in. I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody, and we appreciate it. Thank you for working with us on it.
Yep.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So our action here would be to approve both Phase 1 and Phase 2. I guess I didn't see anyone else for the public hearing. Final call on that. Anyone wanting to speak?
Were you wanting to speak?
I'm not sure if I should be speaking at 12 or 13, and honestly, I just read the agenda this morning, and good morning. I actually was coming because I wanted to welcome our new EA, and then in reading the agenda. So I might be off. My point is about the abatement. So would that be 12 or 13? Are you going to vote on the abatement now?
The
or in
guidelines?
13?
Well, we have the abatement that we've negotiated with First Ammonia, which is what we're looking at right now. Then the next item will be a discussion of our the proposed changes to our guidelines and criteria that would apply to future abatements.
So I'm not really clear on these things. I can wait, but and I've got an appointment.
Okay.
But I don't want to rain on everybody's parade, but I've been going to groundwater meetings about these ammonia plants. I'm reading on Facebook all of the people that are really upset about the taxes that we're being asked to pay for schools and different things. And the green ammonia market is projected to reach $2.8 billion. They have money. Our local homeowners, our taxpayers, our property owners are being squeezed. They are screaming about everything. And I feel like it's irresponsible to give this huge company this tax abatement and not pay their share. Ammonia is a fire and explosion hazard. So if they're not paying their share of taxes and we're paying for their EMTs and the fires, we're paying for the roads they're using, it's going to create 45 jobs. 45. I mean, I was expecting some huge number when I looked up the company. It's fatal if it's inhaled. There was an ammonia leak a while back, and people still have lung problems. This leads to increased acidification and algae blooms, biodiversity loss. Before we give them a tax abatement, let's look at what we need from them to protect our Port of Victoria. We're a beautiful, wonderful resource down here, and I really feel like we're getting, this is silly, but we're treating our environment like chips and salsa. Just give it out free, give those abatements out free, when really we should be like guacamole, like something that's thought about and negotiated and not just handed out to any company that wants to come and pollute our water, our air, and our farmland. So I'm not sure if that's when I was supposed to speak, but my dad has an MD Anderson appointment, so I was kind of antsy to get up here and talk. So thank you very much for letting me speak, Commissioner.
Thank you. Other comments this morning in our public hearing? You can just give us your name for the record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, my name's Jerry Alvarez. I'm Member Service and Communication Manager with Victoria Electric Co-op, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak. I'd like to begin by noting that Victoria Electric's team, as well as a collaboration with South Texas Electric Co-op, has had the pleasure of working with Lee Raymond and their first ammonia project representatives on the project located at the Port of Victoria. What a pleasure it's been to work with Lee and his constituents. This new industrial project located at the Port of Victoria was selected because it met all the required criteria, demonstrating that our community is well positioned to support development of this scale and type. The project will bring new job opportunities to the area, strengthen the local workforce, and broaden our economic basis. First Ammonia has also shown a commitment to be engaged in community partners and is expected to remain involved in local initiatives as the project develops and moves into operation. In addition to its immediate benefits, it will require an expansion of electricity generation capacity to meet operational needs. While this is a necessary investment, it also significantly strengthens our regional infrastructure. That enhanced capacity not only supports this project, but also improves our ability to accommodate future growth. Supporting the appropriate tax abatement for First Ammonia is beneficial to initiate stability, as it helps improve project feasibility, encourages timely development, and supports bringing this facility online. A tax abatement for this facility could also help attract additional industrial facilities to the area by signaling a pro-growth, investment-friendly environment. Taken together, these improvements position our community as a competitive and reliable location for industry. This project can serve as a catalyst for additional investment, enticing other industrial facilities and businesses to consider located here. In turn, this would further diversify our economy, expand long-term employment opportunities, and support more sustainable growth across the community. Thank you for your time and consideration, and as always, thank you for your continued service to our community.
Thank you very much. Other comments in the public hearing? Jim? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good morning. I'm Jim Allison, the law firm Allison Bass McGee. I just want the record to reflect, as Jonas will confirm, and you will also confirm, this is a negotiated agreement. In return for the abatement of its taxes, this applicant has agreed to make payments of $530,000 a year for each year in lieu of taxes. So as noted by some of the speakers, it's appropriate that the county and its taxpayers recover the costs that will be incurred for this growth. But that is in part of the agreement negotiated between the county and this applicant.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that,
that is
Jim.
good to
Thank you
point
for
out,
that.
and that, of course, is articulated in the agreement, which we've circulated and has been available for public inspection. Anything else in our public hearing? If there is nothing else, do we have a motion to approve item, well, the public hearing is now closed. Do we have a motion to approve item 12?
Move to approve item 12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you very much, all those who spoke on that matter. We will now move to item 13, and that is to conduct a public hearing and consider approval of amendments to Victoria County guidelines and criteria for the purpose of tax abatement to provide economic development within the county and take appropriate action. The public hearing for that is now open. I know there are several folks who want to speak on this item, so just raise your hand and come on up as you do. Jonas, you can be first in line.
I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. And Judge, Commissioners, we appreciate you guys diving in and beginning this process. We think this is extremely valuable. We know we're in an ever-changing landscape, especially with some of the constraints coming down from Austin and your struggle to try and continue to be advocates for the taxpayers of Victoria County and advance the county forward. So just want to thank you for your service and leadership. We're sympathetic to your position with revenue caps. I want to thank you for always being accessible to meet with prospects. You have always been a part of the process, and you genuinely want the community to grow, and we respect that. You've brought in experts when needed, sought input from professionals, Zinc Resources is an example, and you've always done well to keep burdens and obstacles low. Your department heads are extremely professional and very helpful, and you have a pro-business reputation that has really set the tone and set Victoria County apart. But then I want to transition and just say that this is a very, very competitive business economic development. It is hard to get projects to look at our area. We're not Austin. We're not Houston. There's lots of competition. We're very proud that we just advanced one project today, but over the last 5 years, that makes 6 projects that we've been able to collectively reach agreements on, and only 2 of those have begun the project itself that has been specified. So our batting average is low. We've got to work harder than our competitors. We're not, there's an example of Taylor, the Samsung semiconductor plant outside of Austin. That was driven not necessarily by incentives. That was driven by a location to the University of Texas at Austin and able to get the pool of labor that the size of the pool of labor that they wanted. And then the incentives were the icing on the cake. So to get folks here, we've really got to work hard. And I also want to point out that inconsistency and volatility from all of us sends the wrong message to the projects that are looking at Victoria County, the port, and the city of Victoria. A new abatement policy is needed. The draft in your packet is a great starting point, but there is no urgency to pass today. We want to be a part of a process to help make it better and provide clarity for prospects and protect the Victoria County taxpayers of today and tomorrow. We urge the court to consult with VEDC, your contracted economic development staff, to help find the least disruptive time to implement changes. What we have is working, and we continue to build on it and improve it, and we think this is a great step in that process. We really would love to all be sitting down together to produce a new policy that better protects the county, provides clarity for prospects, and one that we all have ownership and buy-in of. And, with our VEDC being a membership-based organization, a lot of our folks are here in support of urging caution and working together, seeing that there is no true urgency on this, and we've got a whole room ready to go, but we don't want to belabor the point. So we'd like to invite some folks up to speak, but you've got a lot of folks that are kind of sharing our mindset on this. So thank you very, very much. And once again, we don't envy your position. We know this is very, very hard. But we think we can get to a point where we're all proud of, and we all feel that we're in it together. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who wants to go next? William, come on up.
Morning, Commissioners, Judge.
Morning.
My name's William Myers. I'm not an officer of VEDC, just a concerned member. And to echo what Jonas has said, in reviewing the current and proposed abatement policy, I think there's some significant changes that are meaningful and impactful for this economy. And so simply ask that we table this. There's not a sense of urgency, and put the right focus and community involvement in this decision process, and that we do it right and not in a manner of haste. So with that, I just ask that we table it today and put some further thought into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, William. Next comment. Lee, come on up.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name's Lee Swearingen. I'd like to give a little historical perspective on Victoria. When I came to Victoria in the early 1970s, we were one of the top cities and counties in the state in per capita income. Today, we're at the opposite end of that list. Our economy has changed. There's been a lot go on positively and negatively over the last few years. I think right now we're on a positive movement, but there are some things to consider. Just from, again, historical. In the late 1990s, the Port of Victoria had less than 70 acres of land to develop. And much of that was covered with concrete, not good concrete, an abandoned pre-stress facility. Today, they have over 3,000 acres of property available for development. They need your help. I know from my experience in commercial real estate and in industrial real estate and serving on committees that it is a very, very competitive market to create jobs. And we have suffered at the expense of other communities in our area that are growing. If you talk to demographers today, the projections for Victoria's growth over the next 30 years are pretty slim. Matter of fact, it's either some are no growth, some are very marginal growth. And we need jobs. And you need jobs. And when the First Ammonia deal is a good example of a capital intensive project, but we also need the smaller projects, the less than $10 million in investment that create more jobs. We're pretty desperate for that. I will tell you, as a very senior citizen in this community, that 10 years goes by very quick, guys.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
You know, Caterpillar's been here like 15 now. So keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is you have investments in your portfolio, the hospital, the airport, the roads that you maintain, the jail that you own, other facilities. These need taxes. The only way you're going to get those taxes is through growth, and the only way we're going to get growth is by being very, very competitive. We're getting killed by San Patricio County right now. We're getting killed by other counties in the area. Calhoun County, you get examples. So to get those things here, you're going to have to be very, very creative and very helpful with the tax abatement. I looked at the program that you proposed. I think it's very risky. And I don't think it'll be attractive to people when they see other competitive counties with the same resources that we have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, sir.
Next comment this morning. Another Lee?
Yeah, there he is.
There are lots of Lees here today.
Exactly.
I'm Lee Keeling. I'm, just like William, I'm not currently an officer of VEDC or any of the economic development organizations, although I'm a member of VEDC, former officer. And I'm here to speak against adoption of the new guidelines today. I think that we all work best when we work together. And I would ask the court to think hard about let's put our heads together to come up with a set of guidelines that work for our community and meet some of these challenges that we're facing. We face challenges from both ends of the spectrum. There was a really good presentation that you heard this morning from Woodrow about the importance of this bond issue. You know, whatever you think of it, right or wrong, the various things that go into it, the details, the important part is that this community's got an opportunity to invest in itself. If we don't invest in ourselves, nobody's going to invest in us. That's why we need to take a tailored approach, speak with one voice when we're out in the competitive market of economic development in the United States and around the world to bring projects here. We have several challenges. We've got to overcome them, and the best way to do that is by working together. And so I ask you to table this until the public can have an opportunity, the public and the economic development professionals that we have here have an opportunity to evaluate these guidelines, and let's make our best pitch to the marketplace for Victoria. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lee. Next comment.
Morning, Jeff.
Jeff, come on up.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's rare that I come here and talk to you. It's usually on the other side, isn't it?
You have a Monopoly game?
No, there's no Victoriopoly games today.
You know, I have one. I can give it to you.
I do have a ticket if you're drawing it.
Figured you did.
Judge Zeller and Commissioners Garcia, Martin, Ort, and Sexton, I thank you for this opportunity to speak, and I don't plan on getting into the meat and potatoes of this issue that you're considering today. However, you all recognize, as most people in this room recognize, how competitive the position that Jonas and VEDC are in. And abatements are just about our only incentive that we can really make work for a lot of our industries that are looking at us. So what we're asking, and the Chamber of Commerce is not taking, has not taken an official position on this yet, but we are asking you to tap the brakes a little bit and get some more input from the economic development specialists and experts. There, as Lee Keeling said, there is no reason to rush into it, and we need to make sure that we're going in the right direction. So I'm going to ask you to table this for the time being and regroup and possibly call in some other people on this that can assist you in before you make a final decision. I appreciate your help and your support of the community, of the chamber, and I hope you give this the due consideration it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff. Other comments this morning? Byron, come on up.
Come on up, sir.
How's everybody this morning?
All right.
Morning,
My
Byron.
name is Byron Burris. I am chairman of the Port of Victoria. As y'all well know, we have these projects, First Ammonia, Blue Energy. These take several years to do. And Jonas does a great job. Sean does an excellent job. We need to establish great criteria for these projects. Now, like Blue Energy's like, are they changing this because we're coming in? This is concerning to people we've been negotiating 3, 4, 5 years of a change of tax abatement policies. So I'd like this tabled, and I'd like us to get together, like I've asked on numerous occasions, that a couple of us from the port, a couple from the school, everybody that's involved in taxes, to have a committee and go through a tax abatement process so everybody understands it, not just having someone draw this up and say, here y'all go. I would like all the taxing entities to get together to do a great tax abatement policy where we're not here every few months discussing this. That's what we're asking for. So please table this and let's get together and work it out so we aren't here time and time again, right? So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you, Byron. Other comments this morning? Don't be bashful.
No, once it's closed.
Okay. No one else? Okay. Well, I appreciate the comments there. Well, I guess I'll give a little bit of background why this has been a discussion item for the last probably couple years. There was a time when it was common for counties and communities and entities to give 10-year, 100% abatements. That was in a time when we did not have the revenue caps that we have today. For those who have followed local government or county government, we now operate under a 3.5% revenue cap, which has changed the game considerably in county revenue generation and in economic development. There was a time when an entity could do a 10-year, 100% abatement and realistically expect eventually and over time to recoup the value of that abatement. Those days are gone. Those days are gone due to the revenue caps that we find ourselves under, which has been why there's been a years-long effort across the state for counties and other entities to recalibrate their guidelines, abatement guidelines and criteria, acknowledging the fact that the landscape has shifted beneath our feet, and it is only prudent and wise and smart and responsible to adapt to those new laws and rules that we don't make. The legislature makes those. A key element of that changing landscape and the adaptation to this new environment is pilot payments, payment in lieu of taxes. Pilot payments are a smart and critical part of our abatement process and our economic development effort. Payment in lieu of taxes represents an assurance to a community, to a county, that the taxpayers can be guaranteed a benefit throughout the duration of any abatement. For example, in the deal we just negotiated, the reason why Commissioners Court was open to doing a 10-year, 100% abatement was because we inserted a pilot payment provision, $530,000 a year for 10 years. So that's a guaranteed revenue to this community of $5.3 million. I will tell you that when I first proposed pilot, I received similarly a lot of the same pushback, concern, understandably so. And yet, as proved here, the pilot payment didn't run off business. In fact, that's the key element that enabled us to do that. $5.3 million that goes to pay for the very things that were articulated earlier. An airport, a jail, roads and bridges, public health, public safety, a hospital, an elections office, a juvenile detention center, a veterans service office, and on and on and on. I do want to, well, that's number one. The landscape has changed. It would be exceptionally foolish not to, one, acknowledge that reality, and not, number two, to adapt to it. I want to respond specifically to a couple statements that were made suggesting an urgency in this process or haste with which Commissioners Court is considering this. As I noted, this is a conversation that's been going on, frankly, probably 2 years. I've been in conversations with everyone who has spoken this morning, articulating the position that I'm laying out, hearing feedback, hearing concerns, answering questions. We first looked at incorporating the word pilot into our guidelines and criteria probably a year ago-ish. There was concern that the mere mention of that would send business running for the hills. So we said, okay, we don't need to put the word in there, but we're retaining the ability to negotiate a pilot. We did just that with this example, where we ensured that this community, existing homeowners, existing taxpayers, existing businesses have the guaranteed benefit of $5.3 million. Now, even with that pilot, this is still an overwhelming and exceptional benefit to First Ammonia. The benefit, the amount that was foregone in this deal, was about $15 million. So what would have been normally a $20 million tax burden over 10 years, we said, okay, fine, we'll do that, but we need $530,000 a year for 10 years, leading that net benefit to about $15 million. So if there is a world in which someone could articulate how that is not an aggressive and beneficial and competitive offer, I would very much like to hear that this morning. What we have adopted in practice is to analyze the benefit of every proposal, every deal, every abatement application based on the merits of it, and to not put out in writing and upfront a guaranteed benefit before we know anything about the business. It would not be smart for us to come up with our best possible tax incentive, broadcast that to the world without knowing the entity that we're dealing with, whether they're buying or leasing, what product they produce, how many jobs they create, the average salary of those jobs, the industry that they're in, what other offers have they gotten elsewhere. Those things are very important in these decisions. Jobs in particular, because as I noted, the ability to eventually and over time recoup the foregone taxes in an abatement deal, that's largely gone away, so we need to focus especially on other elements, specifically jobs. Jobs matter. The type of jobs, the pay scale of jobs, the success of this entity, if it's got many locations in other communities. Those are things that we have to consider. And yet, it seems, what some are suggesting is that we offer an abatement up front in detail without ever even getting an application. The underlying philosophical difference here is, should the county give away the maximum abatement possible in every scenario where it legally can be done, or should the county look at the details of those proposals, of those deals, and analyze the benefit to the community? With First Ammonia, we saw a benefit. Not a ton of jobs, as pointed out, but 35, 40-ish. It does seem to offer the possibility to bring in new industry, additional development. So we were willing to do that. Had we not done a pilot, there would have been no 10-year, 100% abatement. The days of those being given away in every circumstance, those are gone. This is a reality that we're adapting to. And yet, I would say that this new reality does not undermine our ability to be competitive or to be aggressive. Indeed, the guidelines that we are proposing allow the county to make that 100% 10-year abatement if we choose, if the deal justifies it. In fact, it enables us to make any deal that the law allows if we feel the deal justifies it. But what we're not going to do is to offer such a deal without ever knowing the particulars of that deal. This would be the same as, the port, for example. The port isn't going to advertise a per acre lease rate of property or tariff amounts or revenue or access agreements or all these details before ever negotiating with a client. That would be stupid. It's responsible for the port to look out for its the public entity that it represents, and ensure that it negotiates a good deal. Similarly, that same dynamic is present with the county. A good deal, a good incentive ensures that we don't pay one more than we have to, frankly, but also that costs are not unduly shifted onto existing businesses, existing taxpayers, existing homeowners. There is, and let me back up a bit, this isn't a debate about whether we pursue growth, pursue investment. We certainly do. Victoria County is and will remain, I think, the biggest incentivizer of economic development activity within Victoria County. That holds true on deals even with when we don't derive the most benefit. We look at how our deals affect other taxing entities. We look at the jobs that it creates, the services that it provides. So in this example, First Ammonia, perfect example, the county, before it was about $15 million in foregone revenue. No other entity offered anything comparable to what anything near that amount. Other entities, other taxing entities benefit more significantly than Victoria County does. And yet we saw the benefit, we saw the need, and in keeping with our aggressive but thoughtful pro-business approach, we granted that abatement. Part of the model, let me back up again. The guidelines that we're considering adopting only mirror what our current practice is and will be going forward. We don't have to adopt these today, whether we do or whether we don't. Our approach to abatements will remain exactly the same. An analyzed and thoughtful review of all the criteria and all the details, and then an abatement decision based on that. So whether it is adopted or is not adopted won't change our actual approach. What it will do is give a clear expectation to businesses and to industry about what to expect. I know in the years of prior conversations related to this issue, one of the concerns was we need to paint a clear picture, a realistic expectation, and not set false expectations. This is a big step to accomplish that end. A guideline and criteria that sets a more reasonable expectation, but still retains and gives the county the ability to make any deal that we deem appropriate. Part of the model was based on what Victoria College does. Victoria College has a very thoughtful and long-established abatement guideline and criteria that starts at $100 million, not $10 million, like what we're putting in writing, $100 million, and doesn't offer, if I recall correctly, the ability to do a 10-year 100%. But in keeping with us being the most, the most intense economic developing entity in the county, we wanted to have a broader range and greater ability than what Victoria College did. If it is the sentiment that these guidelines and criteria stifle business and set us back, I'd be curious what would be said in a college board meeting about their guidelines and criteria. Frankly, I think theirs are good, but we wanted to be more aggressive, have more flexibility, and that's what we're doing with these. Again, these guidelines mirror what will be our approach and practice going forward, and additionally, they are competitive. They give the county the ability to be competitive, to bring in business, to offer incentives, while at the same time achieving and realizing our ultimate goal of being good stewards of every taxpayer. If we only represented one entity, the business we were talking to, if we only had one goal in mind, then yeah, 10 years, 100% makes sense. But we have about 95,000 residents who deserve value in the abatements that we give, and what this does is ensure that that actually happens. I welcome any comments or feedback.
We're still in public hearing, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Judge, I appreciate that, and thank you for laying that out. And we understand that the dynamic has changed and it shifted significantly upon the counties. However, I think since we all received this document and have gone through it, we have seen multiple or some instances where it may create more questions than answers, and we do understand that the years or the process has changed, and it will be different moving forward, especially with regard to pilot payments. We understand that. However, we still want to create a mechanism and a document within this framework that can be built upon and can be improved, that can provide that clarity. And that's not necessarily saying offering incentives ahead of time of knowing who the project is or what they are. It's just so that folks can set expectations, and VEDC and the Port of Victoria can continue to advance conversations, because when we're talking with folks that are looking at a bevy of options, if we can't put together a framework that allows them to put a number into a spreadsheet, they're going to pass us by. And so we think that this calculation of whether it be industry sectors, whether it be economic impact, whether it be jobs, whether it be wages, whether it be residential development, there's a million ways, or a multitude of ways we can look at this. We can ascertain a way that we can all be better communicators for you all, built upon the framework that Mr. Ellison and you all have produced, and allow us to make it better so that we're all speaking the same language. So.
Thank you, Jonas.
Thank you. Judge, would you give a very brief description? You mentioned revenue caps for the general public. What does that mean to the general public?
Sure. Well, I think Jim can give a better explanation than.
Okay. And then one other thing that was given to me by someone in your office that did a little research was, the question was, when was the last 100% abatement that we've given out? What was the last one?
I don't think I saw that chart.
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar?
That was it?
Caterpillar.
So what Judge mentioned in just a few minutes ago is we're basically already using this format that's being proposed. We haven't given 100% abatement. Everything is coming through us, and we make a decision, which isn't fair to the businesses to come in there thinking that this is our policy, 100% abatement. Portside Energy, 50% for 4 years. Centerline Technologies, 90, 80, 60, 40. Zinc Resources, 90, 90, 85, 80, 75, 65, 55, 45. Invista, 50 years for 10 years. So
50%
those are
for 10
things
years.
that have been brought to us, and try to figure out, how do we keep them here, or how do we work something out? And so putting something in writing may be some challenge for the folks that are out there trying to drum business up, but it lets you know what you're coming into, and not sit in front of 5 guys trying to decide how you're going to come in here and convince you to come here. So, Jim, with that, if you would give a description of what the revenue caps that have been directed for us, what they mean to the public.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, as you have learned, since the legislature acted to reduce what we call the revenue cap, this is the amount of additional taxes in dollars and cents that you can take in this year compared to last year. We used to have a system where if you added more value to the tax rolls, bringing in new property, for example, that would automatically increase your revenue. That went away with the revenue cap. With the revenue cap now, it doesn't matter how much the value increases on the appraisal roll. You will be limited to 3.5% more total tax dollars this coming year than you collected last year. So in essence, the legislature pulled the rug out from under us, where we had an incentive before to add value because it would help the existing taxpayers. And no longer is that true. Now, the additional costs that come with all growth, additional law enforcement, additional jails, courts, offices here in the courthouse, provide services, all of those. If you don't recover something, as the judge said, in the abatement process, all of those costs will simply be borne by the existing taxpayers. You'll get 1 year when the new property comes to the roll, when it's not counted in the cap. After that, though, you lose the ability to add that to the value of the current taxpayers. That's particularly true for counties, because unlike cities with sales tax revenue and other fees, utility fees, other taxing entities like the port that have other revenues, you're almost totally dependent on the property tax. And so it hits counties a lot harder, frankly, than it has others. And it's statewide now that counties are reviewing their ability to continue to give a tax abatement and a level and frankly generosity that they're able to do in the past. And so we're seeing this across the state. Calhoun County just revisited theirs. They now have a 6-year maximum abatement with a 5-year minimum, $5 million minimum. We closed the deal this last week in Bowie County outside Texarkana. They completely took the chart out of their guidelines, recognizing that they're going to have to negotiate each deal on its own merit. They had an application asking for a 90% abatement for 8 years for a $50 million investment, 35 jobs. They offered them 50% for 5 years, and that's what we closed on. Unfortunately, as the judge said, your ability to recover in the future for abatements has now been capped with that 3.5%. You have to meet the cost of inflation as well as other increased costs in the county within that cap, and that's severely limited now our ability to look down the road and say, well, in 10 years, we'll start making this up.
Thank you.
Good explanation. Thank you, Jim.
I think it's critical that we hear all these projections about what growth cost. But I think you need to also take into consider what lack of growth cost. And that's where it comes into the infrastructure that you own. But right now, we have very, very little growth in this community. Last year in the city of Victoria, we built 35 houses. That's no growth. So take into consideration what it costs if we don't grow. And that's why we need to take some time and think this through and maybe come up with some different solutions that maybe are unique and different from other counties. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any thoughts up here?
I want to speak outside of when the hearing closes.
Okay. All right, Sean, come on up.
Come on up.
Good morning. I had a prepared thing, but I'm just going to kind of shorten it up for you guys since it's getting kind of lengthy. But one thing that I wanted to point out, and as long as my research is correct, over the last 5 years, only 5 abatements have been approved by you at whatever percent. And from what I can tell, only 2 of those have actually been used. One was an expansion project that was already here, and the other one was a new project. So these don't happen all the time. They're not handed out like Tic Tacs. They're a great incentive. And I think it's very, very important that we have these. Obviously, I'm in favor of tabling this and hopefully having a discussion with you all, a workshop. We're open to a public meeting where everyone can sit down and talk about this open. I know that we have been requesting to have some of this stuff clarified over the last year, year and a half, and we haven't had any feedback or any real conversations about this topic. I'd also like to point out that just because, using First Ammonia as an example, what was it, $5 million over 10 years that comes back to you? That only comes back to you if they complete their due diligence and that project is built. So it's not a windfall, and I feel like it's always talked about that this is already received money and we're going to spend it. We still don't know, and those numbers, 2 out of 5 over 5 years, isn't great odds that we can land these projects all the time. So respectfully, I wish you would table this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Other comments for the public hearing? Going once. All right, well, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioner, you had something?
Yes. I want to say outside of hearing, I agree with what Judge's comments in public hearing were as far as the economy, as far as dollars, as far as more difficult it is for counties to grow, the cities to grow. I'm also data-driven, and I've asked before, and I'm going to ask in the future, that we get more stuff like this
Yeah.
but not only from VEDC, but the actual company that wants the tax abatement. Reading over this, section 2.8, where we have our scale about what we're going to do, I agree with that. The part that I don't agree with is the clarity on the pilots, and I will make it clear that I am for a pilot. I mean, we're on both sides of the fence. Everybody here, everybody in this room wants economic growth. We all want Victoria to be a better place. There's no doubt about that. The guys up here, we have to deal with the public as far as what you're going to take from them and put to this. And I know everything's a big circle, and we are all for this. But I can just say that I am not 100% on this. With the one part, with the pilot, I feel it needs to be more discussion, more clarity. I have no problem with us sitting down with some civic leaders and public folks, and like what Sean said, it's 21 years of being self-employed and being a successful businessman here in Victoria. I feel like I could have some good input on that, as well as there's plenty of more smarter people in this room than I am. But I would volunteer myself to be with this group. With that said, I'm going to make a motion to table this for today, that way we can discuss this and look at some options. It's like I said, I agree with what the judge said. I am 75% on board with this. I'm not 100.
Second.
And that's where I am with it. I hope that this court, I hope the public understands where we're coming from and what we're trying to achieve. We want to bring growth to Victoria. We want to grow Victoria. We also have folks we need to think about, tax abatement, property taxes, all these things coming up. You have a school bond coming up where everybody's very vocal about their taxes going up. I think there could be a little clarity in here. I have pondered this, I've read it, and I prayed about it all weekend. And these are my thoughts. This is my angle of it, and this is how I feel.
Well,
And I want y'all to know, and that's where I'm at. And you elected me to sit in this chair to tell you what I think, and that's where I'm at.
Thank you for that, Commissioner. Look, tax abatements are kind of like a high wire act. They're a balancing act. You want to attract businesses. You want to provide jobs for your community. You want your community to grow. However, you don't want to give away the farm. So it's something that really should be taken into account. For example, like what Mr. Allison pointed out, there's counties that have taken the chart out, okay? That's an option we could do, but we can't do it if we approve this today. I would have to say that I'd be in favor, and Commissioner, I second that. I would definitely be on the committee to talk with VEDC, talk with our partners, because number one, we pay VEDC to help find us businesses and bring them in. I think they should be consulted at a bare minimum. However, that's the way I feel, and I think it's something we shouldn't run into really quickly, since we are not under the gun to get this approved right now. I think we have until November, if I'm wrong. So I think it's something we should take serious look at. Thank you.
Good morning. I just want to say a couple things. Number one, I want to point out something that Commissioner Sexton stated. There's always going to be two sides to everything that we look at, including what we're looking at today. So I want to say that I'm well aware of the impacts that the tax caps have created and the challenges they have created for all counties across the state to operate, including Victoria County. But, however, I'm also aware that you can't count on and capitalize on what you don't have. And it's very important that we continue to focus on that, because it's like counting your chickens before they hatch. So it's not anything that you can count on or put in your coffers if you don't have it. That being said, I would be in agreement with a working group. I myself would volunteer to sit on that, along with VEDC, Port, and anybody else, to work on this agreement and everybody walk out of there feeling like they've all achieved the same goal, which is to provide the best solution, the best thing out there for our community and for all of the taxpayers. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like, Commissioner?
Look, we can kick this can down the road forever, but if we're going to do this and put it on hold, then let's be serious about putting a committee together, and meeting, and make a decision.
I
Because
agree.
I'll tell you one thing, I have met with Byron before, and one of the things he told me, he said, it's not fair that you guys come to us in the middle of negotiating something, you have something written as a policy, and then you change it. And so, with what he told me is kind of what we're trying to fix, is if we're asking VEDC and the Navigation District to start negotiating with how we bring business here, let's make it clear to what they're coming to. Let's not sit here and do whatever the heck we want to do to give them an abatement on. So all this was doing is putting some clarity to it. And so if we're going to table it, then let's table it with a plan to move forward, either keep it or change it.
Okay, so we can table it, which means our current guidelines are in effect, under which we have the exact same abilities that the new guidelines articulate. Just to be clear. As I said from the start, adopting or not adopting does not change the abilities or the practice going forward. But if that's the court's wish, we can bypass that item today and reconsider it no later than when they expire in November.
I would like to do it before then.
Yeah, because, well, and that's the thing, echoing what Commissioner Garcia said, if we let it drag out to, say, October or things like that, it's just not going to get done, or we're going to be rushed to get it done, and we'll be in the same boat that we are now. I think we should, do a public meeting. I don't care. I want input, because at the end of the day, it has to all be something we could get behind, with the understanding that we want to track business, however, with also the understanding that we have services that we have to pay for, and we have to figure out how to pay for them. So once again, it's a balancing act. There's going to be some stuff that you may not like. There may be some stuff that we don't like. However, let's talk it out.
Good deal. Judge, I would encourage that the committee be put together this coming month.
Yes.
And start the process.
I'll volunteer on the court side.
I volunteer as well.
Okay.
So we may have to Indian leg wrestle to see who gets it. So,
All right.
All right.
I'll be the minority on it.
Okay, anything else on this? If not, then we will skip that item and move right along in the agenda. Thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you all so much for that. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, item number 14 is to conduct a public hearing and consider, 14, consider approval of a system data use agreement, security and privacy inquiry for the Texas Health and Human Services, A, mobile food vendors, and B, Texas home visiting.
Hey, David.
We don't need to vote the motion, we're
We're gonna table.
bypassing. Go ahead, David.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. These are standard agreements that that pass through and we agree upon with HHSC and DSHS with every new contract that we have coming through with them. This is merely a data use agreement that we work with our IT division on to sign and agree upon.
That is a good point. There was a motion and a second to table. Do we have to vote on that, Judge? Because there was a motion entertained on the floor.
To table it.
We don't have to, we can if that makes y'all feel more comfortable.
Well, I don't
Okay.
know. I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay,
Just the actual
well
procedures
then,
of it.
let's
since there was
vote
a
to
motion.
table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Sorry, David.
No worries, you're good.
Little housekeeping there.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Anything else
No, standard agreement, this is something we started, DSHS and HHSC started about 2 years ago and include on their new agreements.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
Item number 15 is to consider the following in connection to the Texas Indigent Defense Commission Indigent Defense Improvement Grant Program for the Texas Rio Grande Public Defender. Office for Conflict Cases. A, approval of a department budget, and B, approval of Resolution 2026-052.
Warm.
Good morning.
Robin, good morning.
There was a situation, Brian was unable to make it this morning, so I'll be covering for him. So we'll start off with, we have Stephanie here. She is with the Texas Rio Grande Public Defender's Office.
Do it?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, those go with those agenda items.
Okay.
Yes, we forgot to, there was a mistake in attaching in our haste to try to get this on the agenda and get it covered
okay.
by the due date. We forgot to attach the application, so I provided
Okay.
everyone with a copy. Do you want me to just give an overview, or you want to talk about it? I'm happy to.
On the conflict idea? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I can give a brief overview. Essentially, what we're doing, well, we're all familiar with our public defender office that handles indigent defense cases, but we also know that when there are multiple defendants on a case, the same office can't represent everyone. So essentially, we're creating a second safety net public defender apparatus that picks up those cases, and rather than us hiring private counsel to do it. It's like a shadow public defender's office that picks up conflict cases.
So it's kinda like a
It's a
shadow.
good idea. It has the same funding incentive from the state. It's a good deal.
Absolutely. So the proposal you have before you, it is the same counties that are in our current agreement with Crossroads Defenders with the addition of Goliad, and they will be representing Goliad's main caseload and not their conflict caseload for the coming year. Also, you can find in the budget, the total budget request is $1,080,870. 80% of that in the first year will be paid by TADC with a 20% county match divided accordingly amongst the counties.
So it's kind of like a shadow wheel, I guess, kind of a backup? Like what you're saying?
So it's to
Yeah.
reduce program costs per case to the participating counties, again, and same as the PDO, increase the quality and consistency of conflict representation and advance TIDC's goals of building durable regional public defense infrastructure in rural Texas.
Anything additional?
No, just, hello, Judge, hello.
Hi.
My name is Stephanie Duffnettle, like Robin said. I'm the Director of Operations for Texas Rio Grande Public Defender. And so, we thank you for your consideration of this proposal, and we're hoping that hand in hand with the county as well as with Crossroads, we can continue to provide representation to anyone who needs it in these communities.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
So according to the second page, 2026, 2027, we're on the hook for 1.2 million? Do I understand that correctly?
Which page are you on?
The second page where the comparison is with the budget.
No, that the total budget is $1,080,870. 80% of that will be paid by the state through TIDC, and then the match of the counties will equal 20% of that $1,080,870.
Okay.
And
'Cause I mean, that-
split among the
Amongst
four.
it. all
That,
of
because
it.
what I'm seeing is that
How
the
do you
total
split that?
proposed budget is 3.8 million.
Based on caseload.
Caseload.
So we would take the lion's share of one like that.
Yeah, we will take the lion's share.
Okay.
Okay,
Is that
not really, but go ahead.
And
I'm
on
good.
on the key changes, we didn't have Goliad in there before?
I
We
can't even
didn't,
talk.
well, Goliad, this entity provides the indigent defense for Goliad County already.
And I can clarify as well, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our office currently has a contract with Goliad County. However, it's a little bit convoluted for this next year, just because we will continue to provide their direct services. However, I think the long-term plan is also to then shift Goliad into these counties, and then
Okay.
we would be conflict servicing everybody as well, just to make it there's more continuity in place. But yes, as of right now, we are providing direct services to Goliad.
Okay.
Okay.
So before I was interrupted, let me try to ask this question again. The total budget is 3.856. TDIC funding is 2.5. It says county match 1.2 million. Is that, are we
Is that
paying
the
that?
ma- Is that the main program?
We're on 15. This is for,
Yeah, we have the budget for our public defender's office, then a separate item, a separate issue is the creation of the conflict program.
it would have been easier if they were flipped,
Okay.
but
I agree.
Okay.
All right, makes sense.
that's the way they were.
The
Been nice to talk about
budgetary
that first.
effect, the effect, Commissioner, is anticipated to be a cost savings rather than a cost increase.
Okay.
Okay.
And there is additional information for each county on, and the data on cost savings further in the back of the proposal.
Any further discussion on that?
So if there's any questions about it too, I mean, honestly, this is due on the 8th. If there are any questions, and since we forgot to put this on there, if you want to further review it, we could do it. Also, we can do it next week instead and still be able to
Meet the deadline.
meet the deadline.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. Any additional questions? If not, all those in favor of approval A and B?
Well, we hadn't had a motion.
Did we,
yet.
I thought we, oh, we did not. Okay. Give me a motion, please. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. And then our next item is also TIDC related. That's to consider the following in connection with the Texas Indigent Defense Commission Rural Regional Public Defender Sustainability Grant for the Crossroads Defenders Program, and take appropriate action. A, approval of the departmental budget, and B, approval of Resolution 2026-053 to submit a grant application, and that is our existing program.
That is correct. This is Victoria, Jackson, Lavaca, and Refugio counties being served by the Crossroad Defender's Office. And the total proposed budget on this request is $3,855,455. The TIDC funding at this point, we talked earlier about an 80-20 split. That's on the start. So at the point we are with this one, we're at 2/3 TIDC funding at the state level of $2.5 million, and the county match divided amongst the respective counties will be $1,285,152.
Any discussion on that? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 16A and B are approved. And let's see, do you have the next one, Robin? No? All right, thank you. 17 is to consider approval of payment application number 23 in the amount of $575,536.90 to Forney Construction in connection with the CMC ICU addition and renovation project. We have a copy of that invoice in your packets. Do we
Move to
have a
approve.
motion to approve? There it is. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 18, consider approval of ARPA Draw Request 15 in the amount of $352,894.86 from Citizens Medical Center, and take appropriate action.
This is within their subrecipient agreement. We have reviewed it, CSRS has reviewed it. It's compliant and it's ready for payment.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 19, consider approval of addendum number 1 to add a fuel surcharge to bids for the annual supply contract for road materials, and take appropriate action.
Good morning, Judge.
Adrian, good morning.
Good morning, Adrian.
So this was after further discussion with road and bridge crews and some of the previous winners of the road materials contract that we have right now. And they were saying with just the fuel charges and everything that's going up and down, that they would like to be able to have a fuel surcharge added to their bid. And just so that the court is aware, that was already put in the previous contract. And
what I
so
thought.
what I have outlined in this addendum is just the formula that they need to use to calculate the fuel surcharge.
So the fuel surcharge structure was already there for them?
Correct.
Okay. Now, because I have bought a lot of material
I know.
recently. Now,
know.
so they're going to recalculate that and
Correct.
rebill me.
Correct.
I'm okay with that.
Because, and I stated that to them, I was just like, that is already in the previous contract, and they were just like, we don't see it, and I was just, and I pointed that out to them, and then this is just an addendum to make it more obvious exactly what it is and what that calculation needs to be moving forward.
Yeah, we don't want to break any vendors based on what's happening to the fuel.
Exactly,
Cost.
exactly. And so that is basically what all this is about. And then I had to walk in an updated bid sheet, so you probably have two different bid sheets in front of you, but just to match, and that was just conversations with the vendors that we're currently on contract with, so that they know exactly where to put how much everything costs per unit.
Okay, so do we have to vote on that since that's already, just an addendum, Nora? Right?
Correct. I just want approval that y'all are good with that change. And again, it's just
It's
highlighting.
not really a change, though.
Correct. It's just more, to the vendors, they think it is, but it's not. It's just more highlighting, making it more obvious
Okay.
what the fuel surcharge they're allowed to make.
Well, I don't know if we have to vote on that or not, but if we do, then I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you, Adrian. Item 20 is to consider approval of a road use agreement between Victoria County and Traverse Pipeline LLC in connection with the development and construction of natural gas pipeline within Victoria County and take appropriate action. Avery?
Good morning,
What have we
Judge.
got
Good
here?
morning.
Avery.
Morning.
This is a longstanding communication and several pre-development meetings that we've had with Traverse Pipeline. They plan to put I believe it's a 42-inch natural gas pipeline through the southern portion of the county. Pursuant to construction of that natural gas pipeline, there are two identified county public roads that will need to be accessed for different portions of that construction. The first is in Precinct 3. It's about a mile and a half of Cushman Road, which is a seal-coated surface. Our normal provisions for pre- and post-inspection apply. This agreement is fairly standard, and so we will assess damages, but we are unfortunately unable to elicit a cash bond due to House Bill 206 passed in the 89th legislature, which removed our ability to require a cash bond prior to authorization of construction of the gas
Good old
pipeline.
Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir. So that will fix or that will mitigate our ability to make interim repairs to the seal coat roads. We have communicated that concern to Traverse that as they continue to construct the road, that they'll need to pay special attention to the condition of that road. Similarly important, though different material of construction, Old Port Lavaca Road is the second road that's being impacted in Precinct 1. It's about 3.2 miles and is largely unimproved. So we've asked that they keep that into consideration as they construct the project. If grading needs to happen, that we hope that they're able to take that on. As again, we do not have a cash bond that we're able to use to make those interim repairs. So any interim repairs will need to be pursuant to the agreement. This agreement has already been reviewed by legal counsel and has been approved for your execution.
Thank you. Avery, thanks for all
Thank
the
you,
work
thank
do.
you, Avery
Thank
and
you.
John. This is the county doing their part to protect the infrastructure and their taxpayer base, so thank you for that. Appreciate it. I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 21, receive the following in connection with the Victoria County Mental and Behavioral Health Facility Project and take appropriate action. A is a fully executed Victoria County Mental and Behavioral Health Facility GMP Proposal Revision 1 with Spa Glass, and B, receive executed change order number 1, adding alternate 1.
So, Judge, this is a very exciting piece of housekeeping. We're receiving for the record our fully executed agreements for the base GMP and the additive alternate 1 for construction of our 60-bed mental and behavioral health facility pursuant to legislative appropriation. Just want to take an opportunity to thank the court, thank you, Judge, thank Senator Colcourt's office HHSC, and then our partners in design and construction, Spalglass, BSA, and our owner's representative, Square One. It's been an exciting point to get to here, and as you've noticed, if you've driven out to the airport, we're making very good progress on the site work, thanks to the limited notice to proceed that we were able to pass several months ago. That's allowed us to stay on construction schedule. So very excited to give you that update.
Awesome. Yes, we need a.
Do we have a motion to receive?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 22, receive fully execute agreement with Staff Concrete in connection to our spray truck building project. Do we have a motion to receive?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 23, consider approval of a request for plat exemption from Whitney Smith and Aaron Coons located at 1690 FM 444 South in Precinct 4, and take appropriate action.
Yes, sir. As mentioned, Whitney Smith and Aaron Coons are applying for plat exemption to receive approximately 1.01 acres from an original parent tract of 5 acres. Whitney's parents are conveying the daughter tract to the couple pursuant to Victoria County Development Standards Manual, Section 1, C2C. This case qualifies for that plat exemption. We have reviewed the application and made several comments to subject conditions for approval, including 911 addressing, restriction of size for future subdivided tracts, and ensuring that each tract has access to a public right-of-way. The daughter tract does have access to a public right-of-way. In this case, and upon our review of this application, we recommend approval to the court.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion approved. Item 24, receive for the record fully executed agreement with Victoria Steel Erectors in connection with the Victoria County Road and Bridge Precinct 2 pole barn, and take appropriate action.
Yes, this is the pole barn we're going to build out at the Precinct 2 barn to house our equipment and to protect it from the elements. So move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 25, receive for the record a corrected warranty deed from Derek J. Waitchees for the purchase of a right-of-way on Tipton Road, Precinct 4, in the amount of $500, and take appropriate action.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 26, receive for the record the following letters of permission to enter private property in Precinct 3 and take appropriate action. A, Benny Pentel, located at 3486 Colettoville Road, to deposit dirt from cleaning ditches, and B, Matthew Heinold at 7715 Colettoville Road for the purpose of improving drainage and to deposit dirt from cleaning ditches.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 27, consider approval of resolution number 2026-051 for a road donation from Jessica Helmer in the amount of $575 for the installation of a pipe culvert at 3427 Burrowsville Road in Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. 28, consider reclassification of maintenance supervisor, facilities tech, and RM tech positions, and take appropriate action. I do not see Gianni here.
This has been through Kelly and meetings with Gianni.
Oh,
Here
there she
she
is.
Go ahead,
Just in
Gianni.
time.
What have we got here, Gianni?
Yeah, so as we talked to you guys, I think a couple weeks ago now, Kelly and I went back to the table and kind of looked at his positions. In your packet, you have the proposed job descriptions or changes to the job descriptions that he would like to see, as well as the organizational charts, just to show you kind of the structure of what he's doing in his office. We also worked with the auditor's office to confirm his budget availability. He can actually his request has changed a little bit since the last time we spoke. He is looking now to reclassify 3 positions, taking the maintenance supervisor to be sort of sorry, I walked up the stairs and I'm the maintenance supervisor is going to kind of be the day-to-day operational manager for the division. That's what he's requesting. So all the positions underneath that will report to that person day-to-day. She'll escalate any, or he or she, whoever's in that position, will escalate any major things or major projects or services that need Kelly's input. Any discipline will still go through Kelly. He'll do all of that. The records management tech is being reclassified to a Tech 3 position that meets those, what do you call it? MEP and HVAC and plumbing needs for his department. And then he would like to see the facility tech, which he originally proposed to leave vacant. He would like to see that reclassified to a Tech 2 position, which would give him, build in some sort of succession planning for when the Tech 3 moves on, retires, or whatever that looks like. He has someone that's starting that training that can step into that role.
And you've reviewed this, Gianni, and are in agreement with the reclassifications?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reclassifications accomplish what he wants to do. Overall restructuring of the department, I think helps improve succession planning within his department, gives the department a little bit more structure, and compensates those positions really for work that they're already doing. That
Okay,
they
so
weren't
the
previously
new
compensated for.
classification mirrors reality, not just some preference, and you're in agreement that the grading is correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. So,
Sexton, are you good with it as well?
Yep.
All right.
no change to 26 budget, but part of the conversation we had with you is what does it do to 27?
Yeah, there will be some discussion
So-
for 27.
Yeah, so that is in your packet as
Okay.
well. But it's a net increase of about $33,000 to his budget for 27, not counting any requests for new positions or any adjustments that the court may do.
And that's
at
the
current
number
salaries.
we asked for last time this was brought up, but didn't have at the time.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thoughts or questions up here?
I mean, I can definitely see it's important now, the line of succession about training somebody to come up after, you never realize it's important till you lose somebody. So, definitely understand that.
I'm good with it.
Move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 29,
I don't see any,
I don't see anything. Gianni, nothing to add onto that? Okay.
Okay.
30 is to receive for the record discretionary fund budget amendments. I don't think I have any there. 31 is to consider approval of 2026 budget amendments. We do have a few of those that are in your agenda packets.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. And I believe that is it. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Sure.
All right, well, we will stand adjourned and see everybody back here, same time, same place next week.